Walter Travis was, in his day, probably the best amateur golfer from 1900 to 1910. He won the U.S. Amateur 3 times. He was the first American to win the British Amateur. After that, he went into architect. He created several outstanding courses. Vision of Walter Travis on this course in 1916 was to create a summer course for the park club for the people coming out from the city. So Walter created this course with the donations from Harry Yates.
What really comes to mind with Travis as an architect is his greens. His greens were unique, they were special. He was known as a great putter, so he designed his greens where there's subtle breaks or subtle hills mounding, stuff like that across the surface of the greens, and then taking from that, then the use of his bunkering in around the greens complexes as well as fairways.
It's natural that after 100 years we have lost a little bit of that Walter Travis characteristic. We can't completely restore it, but we can bring out some Walter Travis attributes that are hidden among the internal topography.
I think when I first arrived here at Orchard Park Country Club, the thing I noticed about the course itself was that there was no congruency. The holes really didn't match. You could just tell the fingerprint was on it from a bunch of different architects over the years.
2024, we sent out a survey to the membership. We're trying to identify the parts of the club that need the most attention. The golf course obviously is our biggest asset. That's what everybody talked about and they asked for. Improvements on tees, greens, bunkers especially, drainage issues. We came in touch with Jim Nagle, who came here on property about 1.5 years ago. Took a look at the golf course as a whole. You know, as far as the board, we had visions of the golf course, what we'd like to see. But once he put it to paper, it really got us excited of what this golf course could really look like. And now we can move forward the golf course master plan.
The master plan itself is going to address a lot of the issues that are out here.
The tees are in undesirable shape.
A lot of these greens have shrunken through the years. A lot of the sand traps have been replaced and taken out. A lot of the chocolate drops have been taken out.
The current play of the course is burdened by trees that don't belong where they're at.
Sight lines have been lost across the entirety of the golf course here from the clubhouse out, but not only that, from looking back at the clubhouse. So you're losing a lot of the landform in around the golf course as well.
We knew the next thing was to go back to the aerial footage as far back as we could go. That took us back to 1927. And those aerial coverage shots really show the true characteristics of a Walter Travis course, from the greens to a really strong tree management program. This golf course master plan is not looking to restore everything in those aerial shots, but to really focus on some Walter Travis-esque capabilities. What can we uncover or re-put back into our golf course that really highlights those Walter Travis characteristics that make it truly special?
I think the biggest thing we're looking at here is to recapture a lot of those things that were lost over a period of time here and move this course forward and tick the needle up.
Being part of the committee working with Jim Nagle, it's been very interesting looking at his vision for the course and how he puts it onto a 3D presentation of how some of these new holes are going to play and how they're going to look. The whole feel is outstanding. I think he's been here 6 or 7 times already. We've walked the course every hole several times. We've had people on the committee from all different abilities, from scratch golfers to high handicappers. He's listened to everybody's input. It's very exciting with the designs he's been coming up with for the future of this course and carrying us down the road for the next 30, 40 years.
This is not a unique thing to Orchard Park Country Club to come up with a golf course master plan. We've had them before, and then they've kind of fallen by the wayside. Under great board and team leadership, we're hoping to guide that to the point where we start making the improvements that are laid out in this roadmap by Jim Nagle. We have some real special internal vistas and capabilities that could really make this course go from a good course to a truly special course.
I believe it gives the club also an identity of where we can not only honor the past but move to the future here with sustainability of the long run of the golf course here, where in the Buffalo market, there's a lot of golf courses here that have done renovations, upgrades, stuff like that, where now we're going to become sort of premier facility back in the Buffalo region again.
It can't be stated enough how important this club is to the village of Orchard Park and what the course means to the club. It's its #1 asset, and we owe it not only to ourselves, but to the village and our future generations to make sure this course is taken care of properly with as much Walter Travis-esque capabilities as possible.
We, as the current generation of operators of this golf course, have an obligation to the future users of this golf course to invest in it.
I think we still got to look what's going to happen for the future to attract new members, keep this as a premier course in the South Towns, and you have to, like I think, leave it better than what you found it.